what's up?
Hey guys, I pray you're having a wonderful New Year's, and a lot of times with New Year's, people have this idea of a new year, new me, and when you don't get that instant gratification of your goals, you begin to fall back and forget to keep putting your goals into fruition. But what about the feeling that you have something so deep in you that you know you could do better? Or you know that there's more out there and you could really feel it, but you don't have the how. You're constantly questioning how you're gonna make things work. But sometimes you don't need the how. The universe or God will give you small winks of synchronicities to let you know to keep going. If you don't know what synchronicities are, they are the occurrences of meaningful coincidences that seem to have no cause. Meaning they give you small hints or little clues to let you know that you are being watched or blessed by a higher power. A little reminder that you have more coming or that you're in the right direction. A lot of people have goals that seem so out of the norm when they aren't born into easy opportunities to get them there. And this obviously applies to anybody of any race. You may feel like your goals are bigger than you because usually your reality is riddled with disparities. And I can't knock anyone for feeling that way because it makes sense. You see it often with the constant division that's given to our people based off of appearance and economic standpoints. A level of fear that is embedded in you that makes you question that if you don't do the norm that is given to you, you will face the consequence of being a failure. But when your vision of what you want isn't normal, it's genuine aspirations of what could be for your life, you start to have a vision. The vision of what you want, you begin to work towards it and you trust that what's in you will flourish. Then you will reap the fruit of your seeds. So to sum this up upon doing some research, this is a video based off people that are just like us. No matter what race, but people who have went against the odds given to them in different ways and are eating their fruits. I broke this video down into 4 parts based off of 4 people and what they dealt with, dealing with doubt, triumph, purpose, and patience. I'm sure many of you guys know who Michael B. Jordan is, a very popular A-list actor who started off modeling and doing small acting gigs until he got his breakout role in The Wire. Michael B. Jordan has been acting for years and he really had a goal in mind to become one of the top black actors in Hollywood. In 2013, he starred in the breakout film based on a true story about the wrongful death of Oscar Grant called Fruitvale Station. This is the role that helped put Michael on the radar.
You shot me, bro.
He's managed to continue working and accomplishing his goal by being in the record-breaking movie Black Panther. But most importantly, his role in Creed. Creed is the first spin-off of his 7th installment in the Rocky film series, the film making over $100 million in the box office. The success led to them to make 2 other films, making it a trilogy series. But the most recent, Creed 3, was the big one for his career. This is where he made his directorial debut, where he got the honor not only to play the lead role in this franchise movie, but also direct it. This was a huge deal, making it one of the biggest movies of 2023. But for many people, the cherry on top was his former classmate who used to bully him was at the premiere interviewing him. She had made some comments about him on a podcast, calling him corny because he used to bring his headshots to school.
And, you know, we know each other. We go way back all the way to Chad Science in Newark, okay?
Corny kid, right?
No, I did not say that. Misquoted for sure.
I heard it.
Michael B. Jordan calls out a former classmate for making fun of him, and it is awkward.
Oh, why y'all trying to start drama over here?
The whole thing went down on the red carpet at a screening of Michael's flick Creed 3 in Atlanta, after he was approached for an interview by L'Oreal, the host of the Morning Hustle show, who reminded him they grew up together.
And, you know, we know each other. We go way back all the way to Chad Science in Newark, okay?
Corny kid, right?
No, I did not say that. Misquoted for sure.
I heard it.
So you did not hear me say, I said we used to make fun of the name. But yeah, he is obviously killing things out here.
Yeah, so that corny comment comes from a 2021 episode of the Undressing Room podcast, where L'Oreal, her co-host Eva Marcille, and Dominique DeDiva talked about the actor.
I think that Michael B. Jordan is just like a nice, corny guy. And I don't mean that as a slight, right? I mean, we all know that the nice, corny guys treat you the best.
To be fair, it was actually Eva who called Michael corny, but L'Oreal did admit that in high school she used to make fun of him.
To be honest with you, we teased him all the damn time because his name was Michael Jordan. Let's start there. And he was no Michael Jordan. And then he also would come to school with headshots. We lived in Newark.
Yeah.
Like that's the hood. You know what I mean? So we would make fun of him, like, what you gonna do with your little stupid headshots? Like, and now look at him.
Well, Michael clearly caught wind of all that.
Corny kid, right?
No, I did not say that. Misquoted for sure.
I heard it.
And L'Oreal later shared this final moment from the uncomfortable chat.
Not corny anymore.
And while Michael isn't exactly laughing, he's not letting the childhood bullies get him down, offering this advice to someone who's going through a tough time.
Just stay focused and stay locked in, just follow your heart, try to block out the noise and distractions as much as possible and run your race. Don't compare yourself to anybody else, just keep going.
That was Michael at the LA premiere of Creed 3 on Monday. He chatted with ET and opened up about the release of the film, which he starred in and directed, and his new Calvin Klein underwear ad.
That Calvin Klein ad. First thought when you saw it.
I was like, my mama gonna have to see this. Let me call her. I'm sorry, it's out here. Got my business all out in the streets, literally. This is like a moment, just have everything kind of coming together at one time. It feels great, and be able to share that moment with, my other actors who's having a moment of their own as well. It just feels special. It feels like everything's happening in the right time.
Seems safe to say Michael's having the last laugh.
What we can take from this is just because you grow up in the hood doesn't mean you can't have a vision for a brighter future. And it goes to show that sometimes people with a simple mind don't see it for you. Even though they were kids, she did condescendingly make fun of his headshots, not knowing where his headshots were going to take him later on in life. So regardless if she wasn't the only one picking on him, when people doubt you, those aren't the people for you. When people make fun of you or blow off your vision, those people don't have a broad vision for themselves or they're insecure. It never has anything to do with you, and you should never allow others' doubt of what you believe that you can do deter you from living your truth. Now his headshots are all in her face at his premiere for his movie. And Michael B. Jordan is laughing his way to the bank as he's on the track to direct Creed 4. August Alsina is a New Orleans-born native who's made a career for himself as an R&B singer. I've made a video on August's career and his longevity if you want a full breakdown. But making that video, I discovered that triumph always favors the bull. When you put yourself out there, you will succeed because you never know who is watching. August used to make YouTube covers to get his name out there. He actually started getting a lot of buzz, but he didn't want to move forward in pursuing his goals because he didn't have any money. Where he's from in Louisiana isn't full of opportunities, so he saw what the people around him were doing, which were selling drugs and getting money from that. He wanted to follow suit because he was homeless for a period of time in his life, and he dropped out of high school twice, so he just felt like he had no other options.
Crack in my hand, like, here, do your thing. Get you, because like I said, everybody else was like, they're like, nah, oh, you our meal ticket. You our meal ticket for us to make it out. We don't want you doing that. But I'm looking at them like, you talking about some singing. Nigga, I'm broke. And on top of that, I'm in the same car with all this dope in the car. So I'm taking penitentiary chances just like you anyway. So I might as well be getting my own money.
So selling drugs was really the only way he felt like he could survive. But the people around him were like, you got a voice. You need to use your voice to get out of here and make something of yourself, because this reality only leads to so many places. And witnessing the death of his loved ones, he dedicated 6 months to make things work. He released a cover on YouTube of this song by Lloyd and Jay Holiday called I Can Be More.
And this is where it ends. You gave her the best, but she had to leave. I can be more than you'll ever be.
Before he moved to ATL and started working with producers, he believed in dynamic duos in music, like Aaliyah and Timbaland and Dr. Dre and Kendrick Lamar. He believes in musical partners. His dynamic duo turned out to be a duo called The Exclusives, who were songwriters and producers. The Exclusives were the ones who helped August write his first #1 song, I Love This. These producers were also the ones who wrote the Lloyd song I Could Be More. When he came into Def Jam in hopes to sign a deal, the head A&R, Karen Kwok, revealed that she'd been watching him sing on YouTube since he was a kid. So him signing to Def Jam was a no-brainer to get his career started. His album Testimony was already finished before he signed his contract, releasing his first #1 song and top 10 album under Def Jam with an employee who's been watching him grow as a singer. During his homelessness, during his downfall where he felt like he had nothing to look forward to, becoming the reason why we know August as an artist today. Triumph means a great victory or achievement. When you feel like there's nothing for you, or you have no other options to move forward with your life, but you make the conscious decision to still put yourself out there and make that move that could change the trajectory of your life. You've succeeded far beyond the expectations you set for yourself. What if August thought to himself that releasing covers on YouTube was stupid or corny, or he followed the path of the people around him to keep selling drugs? What if he said no to moving and didn't want to listen to the people around him when they told him to keep singing? What if he went against the grain of what he thought was right and didn't use a gift that God gave him? Sometimes things tie together in the most weirdest ways. You won't notice the little bits of blessings until it comes full circle. How the little things that you think aren't that serious becomes the most important things in your life that led you towards success. Fantasia is a singer and actress most known for winning the 3rd season of American Idol. Fantasia's story is very interesting as she dealt with a lot in her life. Early in her childhood, her family found success doing gospel music, so she knew she had a gift for singing. But unfortunately, she couldn't read very well as a kid because she was too scared to ask for help, and on top of that, she had a very low self-esteem, not looking like the other girls and getting picked on for her features. She thought that if she wore skimpy clothing that it would help her get attention from boys, not knowing this could cause one of the worst things to happen to her. She was awed by a boy in her school and she told her mother days later and they turned him in. Because he was one of the star basketball players, a lot of his friends and classmates would threaten her, causing her to drop out at 14 years old. After dropping out, she ended up getting an apartment by herself before allowing her then boyfriend to move in. They ended up being in an extremely toxic relationship. When she was 17, that's when she got pregnant. She describes this time as a very low period. She felt like that's when everybody seemed to give up on her. She was the girl who could sing and was supposed to grow up and do something with her life. But when she moved out, started hanging out with the wrong people, and got pregnant, people deemed her as someone that wasn't gonna go anywhere. That's when she began to lose herself. Her grandmother, her mother, and now Fantasia had all gotten pregnant at the age of 17, so in her eyes, she was continuing the cycle. It was harder for her to find a job because she couldn't read well enough to finish the applications. She ended up in another relationship with the guy who took care of her and what she describes as a good man. But Fantasia was struggling. She was on food stamps and getting government checks. She would have to steal a lot just to continue surviving, until she discovered American Idol. She was one of many millions of viewers watching American Idol before deciding to try out. She made it past the first round where she met a security guard. She describes as a sweet old black man. He called her over and they conversed and laughed as if they'd known each other for forever. He told her that she was going to make it through. She had her doubts, but he continued to reassure her. The next day, Fantasia was there at 6 in the morning, but when she got there, the doors were already locked. About 100 people were outside, but the security guards told them to go home. While everyone else was cussing and upset, she prayed hard for a chance, but they didn't let her in. She cried on her way to her cousin's house. She called home and everyone told her to go back over there, so she did. Everyone else was gone, but just then the security guard she met the day before walked by. She told him what happened. He went inside and came back with an American Idol assistant who got her in.
Girl, you better go back. Get back in there right now. This your daddy. I'm telling you, Fantasia, you go back right now. All right, go.
Come on, let's go back one more time.
It's crazy.
Well, we back.
Yeah, the only ones.
Stupid ones.
Man,
Hey, pretty girl. How's it going?
not so good.
Really?
Yes,
You
sir.
auditioned yet?
No, sir, they ain't let nobody else back in there.
Did they know it was you?
They don't care about that. They ain't let nobody else back in.
What? You have what this contest needs. Good as you sing? These people need to hear you, and they're gonna hear you. Take my hand, little miss. I'm taking you inside there myself.
For real?
You the last person auditioned here in Atlanta. Kelly Clarkson was the last person auditioned in her city as well. She wanna hold you back. Let's hope it goes as well for you.
Well, I left a good job.
Out of more than 40,000 people, she was the last person to audition. During the whole competition, Fantasia was being judged because she was a single mother who had a child out of wedlock. The pressure from the audience because she wasn't a role model to the young viewers was a lot for her to handle. She didn't have much clothes, so she wore the same jeans every competition with different tops. It was a great opportunity, but an overwhelming experience for Fantasia because most of the contestants had something to fall back on. They didn't solely rely on American Idol, but unfortunately Fantasia did. American Idol was the only thing that she had at the time. She didn't have anything else to go back to if this didn't work out in her favor. But Fantasia, remaining in her purpose, found her breakthrough when she sang Summertime and became the last two contestants, ultimately winning the challenge. Winning American Idol changed Fantasia's life because she's now living in her purpose. If that security guard never took the initiative to let her into the auditions that morning, we would really never know who Fantasia is. We would have never got When I See You. Fantasia has openly talked about him hoping one day he'd pop back into her life, but she never saw him again after that, being the angel that changed her trajectory. The Color Purple was the first play Fantasia ever saw in her life and ended up playing the character Celie in the Broadway show years later, just to be playing in the movie this year in 2023. Fantasia is a testimony to living in your purpose and having faith no matter how bad your outcomes may be at the moment. Tabitha Brown is an American media personality who went viral for talking about a sandwich at Whole Foods. Tabitha's dream was to become a designer and actress as she went to the Miami Institute to learn fashion design before dropping out. She moved to Greensboro to recoup financially with her husband. Around that time, she started making good money to the point she was comfortable, before she got a sign from God that her comfort wasn't her purpose.
And I heard a voice that sounded like thunder. And the voice said, "This is not the life I planned for you." And I was probably making, I think, $30,000 a year. I was balling.
Yeah.
Okay, we was doing very well.
That's good money in Greensboro
it
back
was good
then.
money back then, right? And so I was like, this is our routine. Like,
Right.
This is going to be it. And one morning, I woke up. It felt like an earthquake had hit Greensboro. My bed shook, and I heard a voice that sounded like thunder. And the voice said, "This is not the life I planned for you." And I got on my knees because I got very scared. And I just started praying. I was like, "God, if this is you speaking to me, I need you to show me a sign today. Because if not, I think I'm going crazy. I'm going to go check myself in." And I told my husband what happened, and I think he thought I was crazy. But then later that day, we was on our way to the mall, and on the radio, Buster Brown, who was the local DJ at the time, he came on the radio and he was like, "This is Buster Brown. I got a new TV show on the WB network, and I'm holding auditions looking for a female co-host." And I could have busted the windows out the car. I went crazy in the car. I was like, "That's my sign. That's my audition. I gotta go." And I went and I booked that job, and that's what got me back into dreaming again.
Got you in the TV. You're like, okay.
Yep.
She got a job as a co-host of a local late-night show where she interviewed celebrities who performed at the Greensboro Coliseum complex. This reignited her dream, and she decided to move to LA to further her goals and start doing stand-up comedy. That unfortunately failed, and she ended up working at Macy's for 5 years. After her mother developed ALS, she became one of her sole caretakers, driving to and from North Carolina and LA for 3 years before her mother's death. She decided to get back into acting and started in indie movies and direct-to-DVD films before developing a chronic pain and fatigue, forcing her to take a break for a year. Her daughter was the one who suggested she go vegan to help with her pain, which actually worked in her favor. She started getting better, but since she was receiving disability, the checks were too low for her to survive off of. So she ended up doing Uber on the side to help with her finances. It wasn't until she made a trip to Whole Foods where she said things felt different for her. The air was different, her views were different, and it felt like changes were coming.
TTLA, and that's a tempeh bacon, tomato, lettuce, and avocado sandwich. I already ate one half of it, but good God almighty, oh my God. Y'all, when I tell you, I told myself, I said I'm gonna eat half now and half later. Honey, I gotta take another bite just so y'all can see. Okay, just so y'all can see, because I'm in the car. And I said, let me just eat a little bite of it. Honey, I ate that whole half. I said, well, I'll say the other half for later. But honey, listen. Y'all, Lord have mercy. Y'all know I can't sing, but this the baby sing, Whole Foods. When I think of the goodness, Jesus, and all he's done for me, Honey, Whole Foods, my soul cries out. Woo, hallelujah. I thank God y'all made this Timmy Bacon. Whoever thought of this? Right now, we all together want to pray for you, honey, because what you've done in this sandwich, y'all done set souls on fire. I feel like I've been anchored in the Lord. This right here, it's got garlic aioli, vegan garlic aioli. It's got some red onions on it. These mixed greens. Oh, and I added a little pickle, because y'all know I love a little pickle. Good God, this thing good. Oh, honey, I got food. I don't know if this other half gonna make it. I'm sorry to talk with my mouth full. Honey, this good, okay? If you got a Whole Foods by you, go to their deli. Ask for this TTLA. Add a pickle. And watch your life change. Honey, I'm looking around and stuff look different. That's how good it is. My life is changing right before my eyes. Good God, this thing is good.
Tabitha's video of the Whole Foods vegan BLT sandwich went viral. After it went viral, the company hired her as a brand ambassador to travel the country. She then created a TikTok account sharing vegan recipes, cooking tips, family moments, and encouraging advice, getting 2 million followers in just 5 weeks. This whirlwind of opportunities began flowing to her out of nowhere. She was so grateful that she decided to go back to the Whole Foods a month later to thank the man for making her the sandwich. But when she was asking the employees about the guy, nobody knew who she was talking about. Everybody was confused as if the man didn't even work there. What's even crazier is that the Whole Foods doesn't even exist anymore. It literally closed down. And I don't know about y'all, but I never heard of a Whole Foods closing down.
Hello there, honey. Y'all all right? So I know I posted earlier today that today was my 6-year anniversary for the TTLA video that I did. And something that came over me, and I talked about this a couple weeks ago when I was on a shoot, but I realized I've never shared this. The day that I got that sandwich, the young man who made my sandwich, I cannot remember his name. I feel like I remembered it that back then, but I remember he was a young black boy. I had asked him like, oh, what, how are you? Just in conversation while he was making the sandwich. And I feel like I remember him saying he had just moved to LA and he was going to nursing school. And after the video went viral, like 4 or 5 days later, I went back to the Whole Foods because I wanted to say, thank you for making me that sandwich. And I wanted to take a picture with him and all that stuff. And he was not there. And so I was like asking, when would he be on schedule again? And nobody knew who I was talking about. I was like, he's a young black boy. And I feel like I told them his name back then, although I can't remember it now. And the girl was like, oh, he is here. He's in the back. Let me go get him. And she went and got somebody else that was not him. I said, no, that's not him. I said, I think he's in nursing school. I'm really trying to explain to the girl that was working who it was. And she was like, I don't know who you're talking about. Long story short, since that day, I never ever saw the boy again. And I did videos in that store. I did commercials in that store. I did so many different campaigns in that store. Never saw him again. If you made my sandwich at Whole Foods that day, honey, I feel like I would know you if I see your face. Honey, comment below. I don't know if you remember me or not, but I want to say thank you again. But I just always think it's so weird that nobody there knew who it was and they didn't know who I was talking about. The other thing is that Whole Foods has now closed down. It was like a newer Whole Foods too. But ain't that like God? He will place people exactly where he needs them to be for a certain moment. He will even place a building for you to go inside of and get what you need. And he'll remove the building after. I mean, a Whole Foods is gone. It is not there. I remember I used to go up there from time to time just to kind of reminisce and be like, dang, this is, where it happened. And I remember going over there like last year or so, and I was like, Lord, the Whole Foods is gone, Jesus. But that's how God is, right? Some things are meant to be just a season. And some people, he can use anybody. Sometimes they're just meant to be there for a moment. I just never shared that with anybody. I never saw the boy again. So if you are him, let me know. That's it. I love y'all, honey. Y'all go about y'all business. Have a good night, honey. Tomorrow have a good day. But even if you can't have a good one, don't you dare go messing up nobody else's him. All right. Talk to y'all later.
The patience that you have to have within yourself when you're living a purposeful life that God planted in you is powerful, but you have to have patience because not everybody is allowed to skip steps, and most people, if they never achieve what they want in a fast pace, they give up on a goal and spirit.
Just reminding yourself, if God put something inside of you, if he put it inside of you, it's there for a reason. It will manifest, it will come out. Your only job is to get it out of you. Right? It's got to go from being inside to outside. And you got to keep working on that until you do it. And no shortcuts. We don't want shortcuts. Take your season, take your time, take your steps. I told another girl this a couple weeks ago. We were in Atlanta and she said, I've been working for a long time. I've been working for years and nothing ain't happened. I'm ready for it now. I want to skip some steps. Like I'm tired. I'm ready. And I said, but when you skip those steps, right? So when somebody building foundation, if they skip a step, what's going to happen to the house when you get it?
It will fall.
Honey, it's going to crumble, right? So I don't mind. You know, it took over 20 years for me to get here. I built a foundation for over 20 years. Look how big my house is. And it's sturdy. Honey, it's strong. Honey, this house got windows. Honey, it's very good. and I can add on to it whenever I feel like it.
Yeah.
So take your time. Enjoy your waiting season, but believe that it is going to come because it will. The only people who don't make it is the people who gave up too soon.
Now Tabitha is able to live her dream of being an actress and appearing in The Chi and Switched at Birth and becoming a designer. Her clothing line is displayed all over Target, and she hosted a show on Ellen's digital network called All Love. She did another hosting gig for YouTube Kids called Tab Time. Becoming an inspiration for embracing your natural beauty, she unapologetically rocks her afro and created a hair care line called Donna's Recipe. And the blessings just don't stop there. She released a very successful vegan cookbook, the book receiving praises on Good Morning America, Ebony Magazine, Essence, Oprah Daily, and USA Today. Tabitha's cookbook was so impactful that the Food Network let her host and executive produce the network's first ever plant-based cooking competition series. She's been nominated for the Children's Emmy Awards and Outstanding Host category, winning the award. Tabitha's story is one of patience because she didn't start out getting the glory and opportunities till later in life. Most people now want instant gratification because social media shows us the people who've made it as early as 20 to 21, which is amazing, but it's a small percentage. It doesn't account for everyone. You should never get discouraged because what you want didn't happen the year that you wanted it to happen. It took Tabitha 15 plus years to live the dream life she's living, all the endorsement deals, clothing lines, cookbooks, acting, and hosting gigs. She just started living in her purpose because she was patient, and that patience allowed for her daughter to start a career in modeling and her husband to rest after working as an officer for so many years to feed his family. This video is meant to encourage you and help you understand to stand in your goals no matter how outrageous they seem. You never know when your life could change for the better, and you never know how different things can be if you don't put yourself out there. All four of these people dealt with some type of trial and tribulation, doubt, triumph, purpose, and patience, and when the universe or God put something in you, it was meant for you, and nobody could take that away from you except yourself. Always remember that God sends you confirmations to let you know you are heard in the smallest ways that can lead to the biggest outcomes. Well, that concludes today's video, guys. Stay fruitful and faithful. May God bless you and have a prosperous life. Toodles.